All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight for the Social Security Workshop presented by Hill Wealth Strategies. My name is Daniel Rodriguez, and I am the Director of Operations for Hill Wealth Strategies, and I'm going to be helping us out tonight. Hopefully, it should last around 30 to 45 minutes, and we're going to give you as much good information as possible, hopefully answer some of your questions, if not all of them. But if you have any additional questions, I'm going to give you a phone number. It's actually going to be on each slide where you can give us a call. You can come in for a consultation. You can just call and ask for advice over the phone. We also do Zoom calls with everything that's going on with the COVID and Corona. Some folks don't want to come to the office yet, so we are offering Zoom consultations as well. You'll see that on the slides, but I just wanted to let you know that we are here for additional help as well. And like I had mentioned, our goal this evening is to go over different Social Security strategies with you and ways to optimize your retirement. If you look up in the top left of that slide, it says to schedule your complimentary consultation, please call us at 1-833-MAX-MY-SS. So super easy, MAX-MY-SS, like Social Security. And that'll transfer you directly to us, and that way we can give you additional information and consultations if you need to. Quick disclaimer before we start is we are an independent advisory firm. We are not affiliated with the IRS or the Social Security Administration. Legally, the Social Security Administration can't even give you advice. That's where we come in, and we give you as much advice as we can and try and answer all your questions for you. Not only that, but a lot of folks, that when they call Social Security Administration, they get different answers from different folks, and they're even more confused than when they started. So our goal during this whole thing is to give you as much clarity as possible in your retirement, because we know that it's not always easy. The president and founder of Hill Wealth Strategies is Dan Hill. He's a certified financial planner. He's also a AIF, and that means accredited investment fiduciary. I'm an AIF as well. It's a designation that we're very proud of. That means that we work in our clients' best interest, and we work in your best interest, not necessarily the interests of ourselves. So we're very proud of that, and we're very proud to be working for our friends and clients. Dan Hill has over 20 years of retirement service experience. He's a graduate of William & Mary School of Business. I am a graduate of the School of Business at Christopher Newport University. Like we had mentioned, he's a certified financial planner. He has a Series 65 registration, also his life and health insurance license. So you're in very, very good hands with him and with Hill Wealth Strategies with everything that we do and take pride in for our clients and for our visitors that come in asking questions. Tonight's agenda will be Social Security is probably not your only source of income. What is Social Security? The history of Social Security. How do you qualify? Is Social Security solvent? Is it going to be there in the future? How is it taxed? When can you start collecting? When should you apply? And different strategies to apply. As you're probably aware, it can be confusing, and there's over 2,700 different ways to file. That's 2,700 different ways to file. So what we're going to do is try to figure out the best one out of all that for you. Different types of retirement risks. As you can see on the slide, you have market risk, which is also a systemic risk. It's unavoidable no matter how much you have a diversified portfolio. One example of market risk was 9/11, when everybody knows what happened during 9/11. It really didn't matter how you had your money allocated and how diverse you thought your portfolio was. You took a hit back during 9/11 in 2001. Same thing could be said with Corona and COVID, all that happened back in March. No matter how diversified you were, you probably took a hit in March, and luckily it's rebounded from where it was, but it still isn't any fun, I'm sure, to see your life savings be affected that much in 1 month for something that was completely out of your control and everybody's control. You also have tax risk, death of a spouse, inflation risk. So how much is a dollar worth today versus how much is a dollar worth tomorrow? That's something that folks are usually a little apprehensive about. Is I know my income stream is good now, but in 10 years from now, I don't know how much things are going to cost. I don't know how far this dollar will stretch in 10 years. Healthcare risk. If anybody has experience with long-term care facilities or that industry, you know that healthcare is very, very expensive and it can eat away at your life savings very quick. Gender risk and longevity, which kind of goes right hand in hand with genders. How long are you going to live? What's your life expectancy based on all the factors of your health, your life, your family, all those things. So how long are you going to have to make this retirement stream, this retirement income last? And that's something that a lot of folks are weary about, is if they're going to outlive their retirement and be stuck with nothing and they still have another 10 years of life in them. Sources of retirement income, we kind of talked about this, but you have your IRAs and your retirement accounts, meaning your 401ks, your TSPs, your 403bs, your 457s, your Roths, your traditional IRAs. You also have a pension, perhaps. You don't really see too many of them nowadays because folks are living a lot longer, so companies are a lot more hesitant to offer pensions because they know they're going to have to pay them out a lot longer. And then, of course, Social Security. So you may have multiple sources of retirement income. And what we want to do, and I'm sure what you've already been thinking about, is how do I make this all fit where I can make it last for the next 30 years or for the rest of my lifetime. Three types of retirement income. Which one would you like to maximize? Your pension is 100% taxable if you have one. Your IRA distributions, like we just talked about, your 401ks, your 403bs, 457s, traditional IRAs, 100% taxable. And then that third piece that we just saw, your Social Security benefits, are taxed at between 50 and 85%, but possibly tax-free. And it depends on the strategy that you use, your different sources of income, how you strategically allocate where your income is coming from, and how your Social Security may be tax-free. Your Social Security is not meant to be the only source of retirement income. And that's, again, what we were touching on a few slides ago, is you should have some other ones depending on where you worked and how much you saved and the programs that you got into. You probably have different sources of income coming other than your Social Security. And Social Security wasn't designed to be the only source of retirement income. Which leads us to this slide right here. Will it be enough to live on in retirement? The answer is probably not. So I'll keep referring to this, but when you get your Social Security sheet in the mail and you see that on that first page, that big number at the top, and it says your benefit is, and we'll just say $2,500. And if you've ever looked at that and you said, wow, I wish it was more, that's, I'm glad I have this other income to live off of, or I don't think that's going to be enough. That's what we're talking about. And that's where we have to try and figure out how to maximize all your different revenue streams, because in most cases, that number probably isn't enough to live on. And if you have any questions also, because I know we're going kind of going fast through this because we want to keep it between 30 and 45 minutes for y'all tonight. Again, if you look in the corner of your screen, you're going to see our phone number. And it's, again, 1-833-MAX-MY-SS. So just jot that down or be mindful of that. If you have any other questions, give us a call and we can help address your specific situation, because everybody's situation is going to be different. What is Social Security? A program of old-aged unemployment, health, disability, and survivors insurance. So if you've ever seen on your paycheck where it says OASDI, and you've wondered what does that mean, OASDI? Old Age Survivor Disability Insurance. It's maintained by the U.S. federal government, and it's funded through compulsory payments by specific employers and employees. So you pay 6.2%, for Social Security, your employer's paying 6.2% for Social Security. You're paying 1.45 for Medicare. They're paying 1.45 for Medicare. So that's where you can kind of get an idea. Most folks don't even know that. They just see their paycheck and they just know the taxes are coming out, and they don't know what OASDI is. They don't know how much they're getting charged. They just go about their life and they're just working, and they know taxes are coming out. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more clarity of what those taxes are that you're paying, and just so you kind of know how much is coming in, how much is going out, and why. So you're paying 6.2%, they're paying 6.2%. Now, there's different tax implications for your Social Security benefits, and we'll go over this, and I'll kind of read it out loud for you. But the percentage of benefits that are taxed depends on your income. Okay, so if your filing status is single, head of household, qualifying widower, and married, filing separately, where the spouse lived apart the entire year, your provisional income, and we'll get into that later, but if your provisional income is below 25,000, let me get out of the way for you. If your provisional income is below 25,000, all of your Social Security income is going to be tax-free. Now, if your provisional income is between 25 and 34,000, up to half of your Social Security benefits may be taxable, up to 50%. If your provisional income is over 34,000, up to 85% of your Social Security benefits may be taxable. So that's almost your entire Social Security benefits may be taxable if your provisional income is over 34,000. Now, if you're married, they obviously give you a little bit of a bump because they know that there's two people involved. So if your provisional income is below 32,000, all your Social Security income is going to be tax-free. 32 to 44,000, half is going to be taxable. And then if y'all's provisional income is over 44,000, up to 85% of your Social Securities may be taxable. Okay, so what we want to do when you come in, when you call us, when you give us your information, if you have any other questions, is we try and figure out what the perfect point of provisional income is for you to be able to get as much money as you want or need, and also pay as little taxes as possible, because we want to minimize your tax implications while maximizing your income streams and your revenue. And if all this seems confusing, you're not alone. It's almost designed to be confusing from the Social Security Administration. They know that this isn't something that you deal with every day or that's very easy to digest, but we're here in case you have any questions. This goes back to what we were just talking about. Will Social Security be there for me? Is it solvent? So there's a lot of folks that think that Social Security is going to run out in the next 10 years, 20 years. If you have children that are maybe 20, 30, 40 years old, they've probably heard it from somebody like, well, you're not going to have Social Security when it's time for you to retire. But it does show that the Social Security is capable of fully funding payments until at least 2035. So for at least another 15 years. But given, and we'll go over the next slide, they are adjusting it where for folks that are 20, 30, 40 years old, that it won't run out if all goes according to plan. All right, like we were just talking about, OASDI, I don't know if y'all remembered that, but it's Old Age Survivor Disability Insurance Trust Fund is still growing. That's what we just talked about, where a lot of folks kind of get scared that it's going to run out before they're able to claim it. Again, if you have children 20, 30, 40 years old, and they might be worried or crossing their fingers hoping it's there, like I just mentioned, the trust fund is still growing, so it should be there for us. All right. Now, this is where a lot of folks have questions, and this is qualifying for Social Security. Okay, so to qualify, you must meet certain criteria. If you were born in 1929 or later, so I'm assuming that's probably everybody in here, you need to work at least 10 years. In 2020, each $1,410 in earnings equals 1 credit. You can earn a maximum of 4 credits per year. To earn 4 credits in 2020, you must earn at least 5640. Your Social Security benefits will be based on your highest 35 years of earnings. Okay, so we had a gentleman in the office recently that he had been working since 1972. So that's almost 50 years that he had been working. The Social Security Administration, they're going to take the highest 35 of those 50 years that he worked, and that's what's going to, his benefit is going to be based on. So if you have some zeros in there, if you have some years where you took off, or maybe some years that you went part-time, don't worry about it, because they're going to take the highest 35 years, and that's how they're going to calculate your benefit for Social Security. And then finally, you must be at least full retirement age, and it's between 66 and 67 years old, depending on the year that you were born, to collect your full retirement benefit. Okay? Full retirement age is FRA. So if you've ever seen FRA on any of the sheets you've got, that's what it means, full retirement age. So between 66 and 67, depending on the year that you were born. And we'll show you a chart in just a second. Now, super easy to read chart. It shows the year that you were born on the left, and then your FRA, like we just mentioned, your full retirement age on the right. Okay, so we'll say, for example, you were born in 1956, say January of 1956. Your full retirement age is 66 and 4 months. So if you're born in January of 56, your full retirement age would be 4 months after, so May of the year that you turn 66. Okay. Now that big number that you see on your Social Security sheet that you get in the mail, that's assuming your full retirement age, and it'll tell you your benefit at full retirement age is, and we'll just say $2,500. Now, if you open up that sheet, you'll see different amounts. It'll say if you take it at 62, it might only be $2,000. It'll be reduced, and we'll get into that in a second. But if you take it at 62, it might be $2,000. If you take it at full retirement age, it might be $2,500. If you take it at 70, it might be bumped up to $3,000. And we'll go over that, but that's just so you can kind of get an idea of why they're giving you those different numbers on that Social Security form that you're getting in the mail. And then 1960 and later, your full retirement age is 67. So it doesn't matter if you were born in 1960, 61, 65, it's 67. There's a lot of talks that they're going to bump that up because 67 really isn't that old anymore. 67's young. 67, you still have another 20, 30 years in you. And they know that people are living longer. You know, if you have children that are 20, 30, 40 years old, 67's not old. So there's a lot of talks that they're going to bump that up to 68, 70 years old. So that's when folks my age will be retired. And like I said, your kids, if you have 20, 30, 40-year-old kids, that's when they'll be able to retire, more than likely. Now, this just goes off of what I had just mentioned, the different comparison of taking your benefits at full retirement age and then if you hold off. So this chart right here, it assumes that your full retirement age is 66. So that's why you can see right in the middle where it's right at 100%. That's assuming that you're going to get 100% of your benefits when you turn 66, if that's your full retirement age. Now, if you take it at 62, if you see that all the way to the left, you're only going to get 75% of it. You're going to get a smaller portion because they know that based on your life expectancy, they're going to have to pay it out for a longer period of time. So you get a little bit less money for a longer time. Conversely, if you wait until 70, you can see instead of we're 100%, you're getting 130%. And that's because they know statistically, medically, they're probably going to have to pay it out for less time if they wait till 70. So you get a little bit more money. And this is something that we take into account also when you come in. We look at your age, your different streams of income. We start talking to you a little bit about health, what you're looking to accomplish, things like that. And we actually have a very sophisticated software that will tell you based on your mortality and when you will be leaving us, according to the Social Security Administration's mortality chart. It'll tell you exactly, John Doe, you should take your retirement benefit at 67 and 4 months, because that's going to give you the Goldilocks, not too hot, not too cold, perfect number, where you'll get the most bang for your buck is if you take it at 67 and 4 months. And everybody is different, and it's all going to depend, like I said, on your different revenue streams, your age, your gender, your health, all of that. And we plug all that in for you. I know I keep mentioning it because I can see in the in the chat and the attendees that some folks are kind of coming in. Maybe they got off work a little later, but they're coming in. So forgive me for repeating myself, but if you look in the bottom right corner, you can see our phone number if you have any additional questions, because again, I know this is can be confusing and we're going through it a little quick. Just give us a call, 1-833-MAX-MY-SS, and we'll be able to take care of you, okay? Now, when should I apply for benefits? And this is something that you maybe led you to join this this webinar tonight. Is maybe this is the main question you want to know, is when should I apply for them? And the short answer is it's different for everybody, but the factors to consider when deciding to apply is your health status, like we mentioned. Are you in good health? Are you in not so great health? Your life expectancy. Do you come from a family of what is it, centennials? Is that what it is? The people that live 100 years old? Or do you come from a family that they have a super long life expectancy, or do you come from a family that maybe doesn't have the longest life expectancy? Do you need the income? Do you need it? Do you need it now? That's another thing to consider. Should I apply now because I need the income? I don't have enough money to live, or I just want more money to do the things that I like doing. Whether or not you plan to work, and this goes back to one of those earlier slides about provisional income. And if you plan to work, you might not want to take it, because then up to 85% of it could be taxed. So those are some things to think about. Am I going to take this thing just to get it all taxed? Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you need the income, you need the income. But what we want to do is figure out how much you need the income and the ways to minimize the taxes for you. And then, of course, survivor needs. So if you have a spouse, if you have somebody that you might be leaving, you might want to leave that spouse as much money as possible. So in that case, you might want to hold off for applying for benefits. On the flip side, you might want to start taking that money as soon as possible, and either put it away or use it so you can save those other retirement revenue streams, so you're not plucking away at your 401ks and your retirement accounts. Use the government's money, use the money that you put into Social Security. So those are all things to think about also, and that's what we do. Whether you call us, whether you come into the office, whether you do a Zoom call, those are the things that we do, is figure out all these factors, because a lot of folks just get so wrapped up in, okay, I'm going to get $2,500 when I turn 66, but there's no real plan for it. And they might be leaving money on the table, whether taxes or just income stream. So what we want to do is do all the hard work for you and figure those numbers out for you. This goes back to that bar graph that we were looking at. What if you apply for early benefits? So you will receive a percentage of your PIA. So if you see PIA, that's your primary insurance amount. So that big number on your Social Security statement, that's usually your PIA, okay, your primary insurance amount at your FRA, which is your full retirement age. So if you apply, this is the first column, right, where it says if your FRA is 66, so if your full retirement age is 66, you can see at 66, you're going to get 100% compensation. Now, if you take it early, if you take it at 62, you're only going to get 75% of that. So we use that earlier example of 2,500 being that primary insurance amount, that 100% amount, 2,500. If you take it at 62, you're only going to get 75% of that 2,500. Now, if your FRA is 67, the numbers are changed a little. So this last column, this third column, is for everybody that was born after 1960, like we were talking about. So if you take it instead of 67 at your full retirement age, so at 67, you get that $2,500. At 62, you're only going to get 70% of that $2,500. Now, the next slide is going to show on the flip side, if you wait until after your full retirement age and the bump ups that you get on it. But hopefully you can kind of see, and I'll leave this up here for a second just so you can kind of gauge where you're at, depending on if your full retirement age is 66 to 67. If you took it early, the percentage that you would get. Now, this will also appear on that Social Security statement that you get that I keep referring to, where if you open it up, that first page will say you'll your benefit is $2,500. If you open it up, it'll say if you take it at 62, it's 2,000. If you take it at 70, it's 3,000. So the statement should have some numbers that will reflect your income based on your highest 35 and your work record. Okay. And this is like what I was just mentioning. And so if your benefit is 100% at 66, so if your full retirement age is 66, you can see if you wait until you're 70, you're going to get 132%. So instead of that $2,500, you're going to get an extra 32% bump of that $2,500 if you wait until 70. Now, the numbers again change for folks that were born in 1960 and after. So everybody that their full retirement age is 67, that if you wait until you're 70, you'll get 124%. So you get the $2,500 plus the 24%. And obviously I'm using $2,500 just for a nice even round number, but everybody's number is different. You can see that on your sheet. If you haven't got that sheet, and I keep referencing that sheet, you can always call the Social Security Administration. You can log into ssa.gov, or the easiest way is just come into our office and let us do all the hard work for you. You can again see in the bottom right to schedule your complimentary consultation with us. Just call 1-833-MAX-MY-SS. You can come into our office. We can do a Zoom. We can do it over the phone. We can do anything that makes your life easier. We can help out with. All right. Strategy number 1 for maximizing benefits: improve your earnings record. It's the first strategy. Is it accurate? Are there any missing years? Can you improve by working longer? So again, I'll reference that sheet that you may be getting in the mail for Social Security. You're going to see maybe on the third page or so, third or fourth page, it's going to have this long chart, and it's going to have different years on it: 1980, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. And it's going to show how much that you made each of those years. Okay. So if you worked at McDonald's in 1985, it's going to have how much you made in 1985 at McDonald's. Okay. It's going to have all of your work record. They're going to take the highest 35, but what you have to do is make sure that it's accurate and it's not missing any years. So if in 1985 you made $50,000, but it says $20,000, and you know you made 50, you need to get with the Social Security Administration, or let us help you the best we can. And what they're going to do is they're going to ask for a little bit of documentation, but they're going to need that to correct it, because you're going to want as many credits as possible. You're going to want that income as high as possible, so you're going to get your retirement benefit as high as possible. They'll go back, the Social Security Administration, they'll go back 3 years for you. They'll do all the heavy lifting for 3 years. After 3 years, they're going to tell you, go find those pay stubs from McDonald's in 1985. If it's within a few years, they can go back and they'll help you out. And if I'm pausing, I'm sorry, because I see the chats where folks are sending me messages, so I'm trying to answer some questions as I'm seeing them. And if you have any questions, you can also put them in the chat as well. Now, strategy 2 for maximizing benefits: consider your income needs, both now and in the future, your life expectancy, your spouse's life expectancy. We've kind of already gone over that, but if you need money now, maybe it's better for you to take it now. If you know that in the future, you maybe want to leave a little bit more money behind for your wife, you might want to delay it so the spousal benefits will go up. Your life expectancy: if you know that, knock on wood, you probably only have a few years left with us, you might want to start taking it as soon as possible. If you think you're going to live till 100, that's something else to consider. Annual earnings test. So if you apply for your Social Security before full retirement age and you work, that's why we're talking about things to consider, is if you plan on working or not. $1 in benefits will be withheld for every $2 that you earn over $18,240, or $1,520 a month, $1,520 a month in 2020. It went up $600 from last year. So $18,240. So say you made $28,000, you went $10,000 over, you're going to owe back $5,000 in benefits. Okay, this is something different than taxing. This is a paying back the benefits. So there's two things to consider: there's taxation and then a reduction in benefits. Okay. Now, all that money is going to come back to you at your full retirement age. That's what that second bullet point is. Your benefit will be adjusted at full retirement age. Don't let the annual earnings test discourage you from working, though. I think we had mentioned that earlier. So if you need to work and you need money, then you need money. And if the reduction in benefits isn't the end of the world because you're going to end up getting it back anyways, but if you need to work, you need to live, then that's something that you got to do. Now, to avoid all of this, wait until your full retirement age or later to apply for benefits, because once you hit your full retirement age, you can make $1 million and it's not going to reduce your benefits. This is only before FRA. Strategy number 3 for maximizing benefits is coordinate your spousal benefits. And we'll go over that. And this is one of the biggest factors that folks either don't know how to maximize or they don't even think about is their spousal benefits. And they could be leaving a lot of money on the table by not thinking about this. So spousal benefits are half of the primary worker's primary insurance amount if started at full retirement age. Okay. So I know that sounds confusing. Half of the primary worker's primary insurance amount if started at full retirement age. So for example, if John's primary insurance amount is $2,000, so again, we'll say that big number that you get on the on your retirement sheet from Social Security, if his PIA is $2,000 and his wife Jane's is only $800, if Jane applies at her full retirement age, her benefit is going to get bumped up to half of his, which is $1,000. Okay, so she's going to get her 800 plus his 200 to equal 50%, if that makes sense. Okay, so if Jane applies at her full retirement age, her benefit is going to be half of John's primary insurance amount. If you apply sooner, it gets reduced, just like if you applied sooner, it gets reduced. If you wait longer, it gets bumped up, just like if you waited longer. Divorce spouse benefits are the same as spousal benefits if the marriage lasted 10 years or more, if the person receiving divorce spouse benefits is currently unmarried, the ex-spouse is at least 62, and if the divorce was more than 2 years ago, the ex-spouse does not need to have filed for benefits. So say you were married to somebody for 11 years and that marriage ended 10 years ago. You don't have to wait for them to file for Social Security for you to file. So it's not like if you turn 62 and you're like, okay, I want to file for these divorce spouse benefits. You don't need to call your ex that you haven't talked to in 10 years and tell him to file so you can file. You can just do it all on your own. Now, when you log into your Social Security account on ssa.gov, it's going to ask you all those things. Have you been married? What's their information? It'll have all of your information and all of their information, and then it'll base your spousal benefit off of the information that they have in the system. And if yours is more, then you'll take yours. If theirs is more, then you'll take theirs. But it's going to have all that for you. You just need to have a little bit of information. You need to remember some of the stuff about the person, their name, how long you were married. It may ask you for their social. And then, of course, if you haven't been divorced, then none of this applies to you. But if you have any questions about it, again, in the top left corner, 1-833-MAX-MY-SS, and we can take care of it for you. We're pretty much pros at it at this point. Strategy number 4 for maximizing benefits is minimize the taxation of benefits. And I think I probably mentioned that a dozen times so far, is that we want to make sure that you're getting as much money as possible and that we're minimizing the taxes. And I'm sorry, I keep looking over in the chat and I see that some folks are looking at that spousal support strategy again, and we'll go over that. Just write this number down, and you can give me a call after this webinar, and I can answer some of these questions for you. Okay, I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring the chat or anything. I'm just trying to keep it to 30-45 minutes for everybody. So just write that number down and give me a call. So minimize taxation of benefits. And there's different ways to minimize your taxes on your Social Security benefits. You reduce the other income with tax advantage investments, but not municipal bonds. You want to anticipate your IRA, which is your individual retirement account, RMDs which is a required minimum distribution. So depending on your age, you may or may not know about that, because due to the Secure Act that they passed last year, you used to have to start taking your RMDs at 70 and a half, but now it's 72. If you're not familiar with RMDs, the quick version of it is basically once you turn 72, the government makes you take withdrawals, a percentage of your IRAs and withdrawals every year. And it's a small percentage, but they make you take it because you're paying taxes on it. So they want to make sure that the government's going to get some of their tax money. So the way to minimize your taxes is just anticipate those required minimum distributions, which may put you in a higher tax bracket. And that's, again, something that you may not even know what I'm talking about. You may not even have been thinking about it, but this is stuff that we do every day. It can be confusing. Don't worry about it. Don't get frustrated. Don't scratch your head and say, I'm not ready for this. I don't know what's going on. That's what we're here for. Convert traditional IRAs to a Roth, and then to continue to manage your taxes throughout retirement. Some folks think as soon as they start taking Social Security, they're done with it, and they don't have to think twice about it again. That's not necessarily true, because things are constantly changing, and you want to be mindful of that, because the last thing you want to do is pay more taxes than you have to. Again, if you work with us or if you have any questions, that's what we do every day. When we clock in the morning, that's what we do, is we manage taxes throughout our clients' retirement. We don't just see on the first day and then we're done with you. We manage you and we walk you through your entire retirement. And again, if this is complicated, if you're scratching your head, it's normal, especially given all the laws and the fact that we're going through this kind of quick. Survivor benefits. So survivor benefits are going to depend on a few things. The age at which the deceased spouse originally claimed his benefit, which is called the original benefit. So the age at which the deceased spouse originally claimed his benefit. So we'll use that John and Jane example again. If John claimed his benefit at 62 instead of 67, his original benefit is whatever he was getting at 62. So if he claimed before his full retirement age, the survivor benefit will be limited to the higher of the deceased spouse's benefit, or 82.5% of his primary insurance amount, which again is that big number, that number if he waited until his full retirement age. So if John claimed before his full retirement age, Jane's benefit will be limited to the higher of John's benefit, or 82.5% of his PIA. Okay. If John claimed after his full retirement age, Jane's benefit will include the delayed credit, so it'll be bumped up as well. Okay, and that's what her benefits will be based off. Now, the age at which the widow claims the survivor benefit is the actual benefit. So the age at which Jane claimed the survivor benefit is the actual benefit. If Jane claimed before her full retirement age, so if her full retirement age was 67 and she claimed before that, her benefit's going to be a fraction of John's original benefit. Okay, I know that's kind of confusing, but the short version of it is if you claim early, it's going to get reduced. Okay, that's kind of the name of the game, and whether it's spousal, survivor, individual, if you claim early, it's going to get reduced. If you claim after your full retirement age, it's going to get bumped up. Now, Jane, this is the last bullet. If Jane claims at her full retirement age or later, her survivor benefit will be equal to 100% of the original benefit. Okay, so if Jane claims at 67, that was her full retirement age, her survivor benefit will be equal to 100% of John's original benefit. So she'll get all. So if he was making, if his was $2,000 and hers was $1,000, if she claims at her full retirement age or later, her survivor benefit is going to be bumped up to $2,000 from $1,000. Rules for survivor benefit: couples must have been married for at least 9 months at the date of the death, except in the case of an accident. Survivor must be at least 60 for reduced benefits, 50 if disabled, or full retirement age for 100% full benefit. Survivor benefit is not available if the widow or widower remarries before age 60 or 50 for disabled survivor, unless the marriage ends. Divorced spouse survivor benefits available if the marriage lasted at least 10 years. Okay. So again, I know this is all confusing, but at the bottom right of the screen, you can see our phone number, 1-833-MAX-MY-SS. Write your questions down, give us a call, and we can answer them for you. Come into the office and we can help you out. Now, again, I know I keep mentioning how easy all this is. This is the U.S. government's simple Social Security formula. So that alphabet soup that you see down there is how they figure out your Social Security. So if you like, you can write that down. You can take a picture of it. I don't know how much it'll help. The easiest way is just to come into our office and let us do it for you, or give us a call. But that is the formula that they use over the Social Security Administration, which may be a reason why they're always getting things wrong, because if you forget to carry a 2 on that thing, I guess it could mess everything up. We mentioned this at the beginning of the presentation. Are you hoping to get it right? So you can see that pretty lady's has her eyes closed and her fingers crossed, and she's just hoping that she has all those numbers that we just talked about and all those rules and all those ways to claim correctly. Probability wise, she's probably not going to get it right, because as you can see over on the left, there's over 2,700 rules for claiming. There's over 560 different ways to claim. The Social Security Administration employees are prohibited from advising on maximization. If you look at that first bullet point, what's at stake? $250,000, $1,000 a month, 76% or more of your monthly income by not filing it the correct way. So, when she's has her fingers crossed and she's hoping for the best, she should be maybe hoping for, a nice day outside so she can go on the boat or go to the beach or go in the garden or whatever she wants to do. You don't want to close your eyes and cross your fingers for the rest of your retirement and your life savings. That's not a good strategy. All right, I'm gonna go backwards one because somebody in the chat wanted to see that crazy formula, so I'll just go back real quick for that. But that's the calculation if you wanted to see it again. Again, that's more of a joke slide just to show you how complicated it is. We don't expect you to write that down and figure it out. That's just our way of showing you that it's a lot easier if you just come in and see us, because we know what we're doing instead of trying to figure it out for yourself. Speaking of the Social Security Administration constantly getting things wrong, this is an article just showing that the Government Accountability Office had released a report that folks at the Social Security Administration, the staff, were routinely making mistakes in advising people about their Social Security. Now, the one downfall of that is if you get bad advice from them and then you try and fix it, there's not too much that they can do. So that's why they've just said you're not allowed to give advice. If you work here, you're not allowed to give advice, because a lot of folks were getting bad advice and getting stuck in really bad positions that they were unable to get out of. Just come visit our office, give us a call, and like I said, just let us do all the heavy lifting for you. We addressed this at the very beginning. The most important concern for most folks in retirement is the income, and if they're going to be, if it's going to be enough income in the retirement, or if they're going to outlive the retirement. That's one of the biggest fears. Is, I think I had mentioned it, where you turn 80 years old and you're out of money, but you're still healthy and you still want to do a bunch of things. You still want to go places. You still want to go on vacations. You still have grandkids you want to spoil. You still have kids you want to take care of. So what we want to do is alleviate that concern for you if the income's going to be off, if you're going to outlive it. And the way we do that is just by bringing it all together. As you can see in this slide, you're going to have your required income. So that's the income that you need to remain comfortable. That's going to be the income to pay the bills and keep the lights on and eat 3 meals a day. Then you have your lifestyle income, and that's what you want to do for fun and family and adventure, like I joked about on the last slide, where if you want to go on the boat, you want to go to the beach, you have hobbies, you want to do gardening, you want to travel. That's your lifestyle income. You have to add your lifestyle income in with that required income, and that's your total income, how much you need for retirement every month. And I see somebody in the chat asked us if this presentation was recorded to review at a later time. Yes, I'm glad you had asked. That's a good question. You're going to get an email probably within the next 48 hours, and it'll have this this presentation, a link to it where you can watch it again. You can pause it. You can go through it. Okay. I apologize. I'm going a little quick. I just want to keep everybody's respect everybody's time and keep it to 30, 45 minutes, which I think I'm right at right now. But yes, you'll get an email with this recording. Now, I know I had mentioned this a bunch of times, but our goal at the office and our goal for you as fiduciaries and as financial planners is to optimize your Social Security. We want to optimize your retirement income. We want wealth preservation for you. We're going to do a life insurance audit. And what that basically means is if I pass away, is the life insurance that I have or don't have enough for my survivors, whether it's spouse or whether it's the children, the beneficiaries? Is it enough for them to live comfortably or accomplish what you wanted them to accomplish? Tax planning, I know we keep touching on that, but ways to minimize your taxes. Annual evaluation, I mentioned that earlier, where we don't see you one time and then we're done with you, and we shake your hands and then we cross our fingers and hope that you're doing well, and you cross your fingers and hope those guys that you met on the webinar knew what they were talking about. We're going to meet with you every year. A lot of times we meet with our clients a lot more than that, especially in the first couple years where we become family. Is we want to meet with you every quarter just to touch base with you, see how you're doing, see if anything in your life has changed, see if there's anything else you want to accomplish, and then a complete plan with constant review like we just talked about. So it's not going to be where we just meet you, we talk to you for 30 minutes, and we're going to say, okay, you need to put your money in this portfolio, you need to get this annuity, you need to do this or that. It's going to be a complete plan where we look at your entire life, what you're trying to accomplish, your different sources of income, how long you want this money to last for you. We always want to make it sure that y'all's money lasts forever. Even if you say 10 or 15 years, we want your money to last forever for you, and it's going to be in constant review. And then, like we had just talked about, like our promise to you is that we're going to give you clarity about your money, your retirement, and your future, because we're not blind to the fact that this is all very confusing. It's very foreign. Most folks are just working their entire life. They start working when they're 16, and then they're putting money away, and then in the blink of their eye, they're 60, 65 years old. Y'all have never thought about Social Security. Y'all haven't really thought about retirement or taxes or anything like that. So it can be overwhelming. What we want to do is give you clarity about your money, your retirement, and your future. And I know I keep touching on it, but if you're confused, that's okay. Give us a call. You can see at the bottom right screen, 1-833-MAX-MY-SS. You'll end up talking to me or somebody else from the office, and we can help you with anything that you need and give you a little bit more one-on-one attention, because I know sometimes webinars are a little tough, because I can see in the chat like y'all have specific questions, and we want to make sure we answer them. So the process of that, if you decide to call us or come to our office, is we'll start with a consultation. It's completely complimentary. We're just going to talk to you. We're going to figure out what it is you're looking to accomplish in your retirement. We're going to design a plan. We're going to review it for you and see if that works for you. Some folks, like, we put a plan together and they say, oh, I'd like a lot more money within the next 5 years, because I want to travel. I want to go to the Grand Canyon. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to do this and do that. So we're going to review it. The fourth step is adjust it based on what you said. So we'll do the initial architecture. You'll give us your feedback, and then we'll adjust it based on things that you want to do. We're going to finalize the plan. You'll review it, make sure that that's everything that you want to accomplish, and make sure it's perfect. And then we're going to execute the plan. And that's what's going to lead you on to that nice, enjoyable, stress-free retirement. And then lastly, I don't think I had mentioned this before, but our consultations are completely complimentary, and we're located right on Midlothian Turnpike, 10800 Midlothian Turnpike. So that's right next to the Johnson Willis Hospital, right down the street from the Costco, across from the Arby's. So if you want to come into the office, we'd love to have you. Just give us a call, 1-833-MAX-MY-SS, and we can answer all the questions for you. If you have any other questions, you can also shoot me an email. My name is Daniel, like I said. or you can contact Dan, who, like we had mentioned at the beginning, is the president and founder. Daniel at Hill Wealth Strategies, or Dan at Hill Wealth Strategies. Okay. I know I'd mentioned it earlier also, but we will also do a Zoom call if you feel more comfortable that way. We can do a phone consultation. And then, of course, you're going to get a replay of this video in your email tomorrow. All right. That's all I have. I went a little bit over the 45 minutes. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. It looks like everybody stayed with me the whole time, so I appreciate it. If you have any questions, give me a call at that number, 1-833-MAX-MY-SS, and we will take care of everything you need. But appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.